Hey guys, welcome back to Every Card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, where we are continuing with the Blue Eyes Archetype. Today, we've got 10 more support cards to look at, including the first of the spell cards and some more extra deck monsters. Let's go! And we start with Burst Stream of Destruction. This is a normal spell card which reads, if you control Blue Eyes White Dragon, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. Blue Eyes White Dragon you control cannot attack the turn you activate this card. This card was first printed in 2016 and has been in Master Duel since the game's inception. Destroying all of your opponent's monsters is just about the most basic one-way board wipe, and whilst there are generic cards that offer this effect, like Reigeki, the fact that this card specifically mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon means there are loads of ways to search it out within the archetype. As the years have gone on, destroying monsters has become less and less of a powerful effect, but that doesn't mean this card should be ignored. It's just a normal rarity and so is definitely worth at least experimenting with. Secondly, we've got Bingo Machine Go. This normal spell has the following effect. Reveal 3 cards from your deck that each meets at least one of the criteria listed below. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to add to your hand and you shuffle the rest into your deck. You can only activate one Bingo Machine Go per turn. Blue Eyes monster, spell trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, except Bingo Machine Go. So this can essentially be used to guarantee one of these specific cards, provided of course you're able to run a full playset. This is the first effect we've come across which forces the opponent to pick a random card, something which is completely superficial in Master Duel where RNG could be used. But seeing as most people are going to pick 3 copies of the same card anyway, I think it's just to make the game feel more interactive. Whilst this card may not be in all the high tier Blue Eyes decks you'll see, this card is an ultra rare for good reason. The fact that powerful cards are added to the Blue Eyes archetype every couple of years or so means that this kind of searcher always has the potential to be powerful. Fun fact, the bingo machine featured in the artwork is based on the machine used to draw the duelists' names during the Battle City final during the Duel Monsters anime. Next is Wishes for Eyes of Blue, a normal spell card which reads, discard 1 card, add 1 level 1 light tuner and 1 spell trap that mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand, except Wishes for Eyes of Blue. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon you control, equip 1 Blue Eyes monster from your extra deck to it as an equip spell that gives it 400 attack. You can only use each effect of Wishes for Eyes of Blue once per turn. This is absolutely one of the strongest Blue Eyes cards ever printed, and I would advise anyone building this deck to run 3 copies of this card. As we've seen, there are a lot of powerful level 1 tuners in this archetype, and generally this card is used to search for Sage with Eyes of Blue or Maiden of White. It then goes on to add a Blue Eyes spell trap to hand, which gives a huge range of cards to choose from, with the most popular target being Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. Its effect Engrave also synergizes amazingly with the rest of the archetype, with the strongest line being to turn Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon into an equip before tributing the cards for Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. This sets up the graveyard whilst generating an even stronger board. And the next card is the aforementioned Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons. Another normal spell. Its effect is special summon in defense position 1 Blue Eyes monster from your deck, graveyard or banishment. But if you control no Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can only special summon Blue Eyes White Dragon with this effect. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except dragon monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, including a Blue Eyes monster. You can only use 1 Roar of the Blue Eyed Dragon's effect per turn and only once that turn. So this card is another part of the main Blue Eyes combo and should ideally be run at 1 copy. It's also the first example of an effect that locks the player into only summoning a certain type of monster for the rest of the turn, but seeing as the extra deck is filled with powerful dragon monsters to go into, this isn't a huge downside. Its effect to summon a Blue Eyes from pretty much anywhere more than makes up for this as well, and it even has that second effect to fusion summon a Blue Eyes monster, though it doesn't come up nearly as often. And now we have our first equip spell, Beacon of White. This card's effect is, if you do not control another Beacon of White and you have 3 or more Blue Eyes monsters in your graveyard, target 1 of them. Special summon it but negate its effects. Also, equip it with this card. When this card leaves the field, banish the equipped monster. Other monsters you control cannot attack. Also, if you have any number of Blue Eyes monsters in your graveyard, the equipped monster can attack up to that number during each battle phase. Okay, so honestly, I'd never used this card before capturing gameplay for this video, so I guess that tells you how relevant it is. Equip spells are known amongst duelists as being some of the clunkiest and slowest cards in the game, and this card is no exception. Its effect to special summon a Blue Eyes is fine, but there are too many downsides, such as only being able to attack with that monster, and the fact that drawing this on an opening hand would be less than optimal as your graveyard would be empty. I would not recommend. Next up up is the ritual spell Chaos Form. Its effect is, this card can be used to ritual summon any Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field and or banish Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician from your graveyard, whose total levels exactly equal the level of the Chaos or Blackluster Soldier ritual monster you ritual summon. Very wordy. Unfortunately, this is another feature of modern ritual spells. They need to establish where the summoned monster and the tributes are coming from. This is one of the best ritual spells in the game though, playable in the Dark Magician or Blue Eyes archetype to summon cards such as Dark Magician of Chaos and Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. It does once again depend on the type of Blue Eyes build you're going for as to if you'll need to run this card, but in a deck aiming to ritual summon, this is probably best run at 3 copies and it's easy to obtain as an R rarity. Okay, now we have the continuous spell Strength and Unity, another card that supports the Blue Eyes and Dark Magician archetypes. It reads, if you ritual or fusion summon using Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician, you can target one card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, banish it. You can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, then target one level 7 or higher normal monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand or shuffle it into the deck. You can only use each effect of Strength and Unity once per turn. So this card was first printed in 2020 and has been in Master Duel since the game's inception in 2022. Considering it's fairly recent, it feels underpowered. The optimal Blue Eyes strategy usually ends on Synchro Boss monsters, but this card is still an option if you're running a differently themed deck, such as the Dragon Master Magia and Chaos Max Dragon builds. Being able to banish an opponent's card is good, as banishment is one of the most effective forms of removal, but its second effect is rarely used, with there being so many effects that can special summon Blue Eyes from grave. Just adding a normal monster that requires 2 tributes to your hand or deck once again seems almost useless. I would suggest avoiding this card, as an optimal 40 card deck just won't have room for it. Next we have our first Synchro monster, Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. This is a light level 9 dragon type monster which requires 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuners. It has the following effect. Neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Once per turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation. Quick effect, you contribute this synchro summoned card, special summon 1 light dragon synchro monster from your extra deck in defense position, except Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. This card is an absolute banger and has been a staple of Blue Eyes extra deck since its release in pretty much all formats. Its floodgate effect was seemingly created to overpower pendulum decks, which were high tiered in the meta during its OCG release. So many plays are done through the graveyard that its second effect almost always comes up, and if Blue Eyes is able to go full combo, Spirit Dragon's third effect can cheat even more powerful monsters out of the extra deck. The downside of its effect is often overcome by protecting the special summon monsters from being destroyed with something like Azure Eyes Silver Dragon or Stardust Divine Cypher Dragon. Its effects are not a hard once per turn as well, meaning this card is often run at 2 copies. And now we are really cooking with gas. The next card was a fairly recent addition. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon is a light level 12 dragon synchro monster which requires 2 or more tuners and exactly 1 non-tuner Blue Eyes monsters. Its effect is, your opponent cannot banish cards from your graveyard. You can only use each of the following effects of Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon once per turn. When a card or effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, this card gains 1000 attack until the end of this turn. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon 1 light dragon monster from your graveyard, except Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon. Okay, let's break this one down. First of all, whilst the Blue Eyes archetype offers lines to summon this card conventionally, namely by using Neo Kaiser Seahorse's level modulation effect to make itself a level 3, then using one of the various level 1 tuners as well as a Blue Eyes White Dragon, but the thing is, you don't need to do any of that because Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon can cheat this card out of the extra deck, and whilst it will be summoned in defense mode, its effects are still live, and that's what really counts. Its first effect protects your graveyard, and its second effect isn't just a quick effect negate, but can raise its attack to 4500. Notably, this effect can be activated in response to your own cards as well, making it easy to boost its attack. It also floats into a light dragon, so even if it is destroyed by Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon's effect, you still have a body on the field at the end of the turn. This is one of the most powerful and accessible Blue Eyes boss monsters and should absolutely be run. Finally for today we have Spirit with Eyes of Blue, a light Link 1 dragon type monster with 300 attack. It can be summoned by linking away a level 4 or lower dragon or spellcaster type monster, and its effect is you cannot special summon except dragon monsters. You can only use each of the following effects of Spirit with Eyes of Blue once per turn. If this card is link summoned, you can take one Mausoleum of White from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can tribute this card, special summon one Blue Eyes monster from your hand or graveyard, but if you special summoned an effect monster from your graveyard by this effect, it cannot attack and its effects are negated. Another newer card, this is the first and at the time of recording only Blue Eyes Link monster. It speeds up the deck a lot as it can be summoned using pretty much all of the level 4 or lower tuners we've looked at. It adds a Mausoleum of White to hand, which in turn can send a Blue Eyes to graveyard, which Spirit with Eyes of Blue can tribute itself to special summon. So yeah, this is another must include card and it's seen at 2 copies in a lot of lists. The fact that it's only a super rare means it's also not as tough to craft as some of these other powerful monsters. And that's going to be it for today. I developed a pretty sore throat during the recording of this video, so sorry if that's been noticeable in these last couple of cards. Next time I'll be looking at more spells and traps from the Blue Eyes archetype. I'll see you then. Wordy? Yes. Unfortunately, this is another feature of modern ritual spells. They need to establish where the summoned frick. It also floats into a light dragon, so even if it is destroyed by Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon's effect, you can still have a body on the Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon is a light level 12 dragon synchro monster which requires 2 or more tuners and exactly 1 non-tuner Blue Eyes monsters. My voice is today, gosh.